Give me a minute. I know I'm going to get called every name in the book for coming up with this, but as you can see, the video is titled. This is going to be a real quick live. I only got about a half hour to talk with the folks. What's wrong with left-wing debates? How you doing, Double Up, 777? Got into a debate earlier today. And, you know, oftentimes my audience is predominantly MAGA, but I welcome liberals in a healthy dialogue. I get a female, I'm on someone else's program. I get a female that identifies as they. I have no problem as a liberal. I am certainly in favor of the LGBTQIA community, and I don't mind trying to accommodate your pronouns. But this is a problem I have, and I'll let you guys in the comment section. Like I said, it's a pretty quick debate here, but I don't mind accommodating these pronouns. But understand, folks, I am a man of 50 years. I've had over 16 years of formal education. And out of the dozens of teachers throughout my wake that I have attended class, not a single one of them has ever suggested that I use a plural word to address a singular person. Now, I'm willing to accommodate all of the teachings that I received in the past may have to be readjusted. I'm fine with that. However, I despise members of the LGBT community for attacking folks for making a mistake on something they were never taught in school. Once again, this is the old man, what did they say? You can't teach an old dog new tricks or whatever. Out of all of the years I've been in class, calling a person a plural word would have gotten me a failing grade. So even though I'm willing to accommodate these new changes, it absolutely makes no sense to the LGBT community or their cause to attack folks for making a mistake on something you are damn sure they were not taught in school. Any American over the age of 20 was not taught this stuff. This is all new math. Understand that. Just like in the real math classes, people do math differently now. We were taught when you're doing multiplication, for instance, multi-digit multiplication, you put the numbers above each other and you do it that way. Now they're using boxes and they're multiplying by tens and things like that. It's different now. But if you go to a guy my age, 40 years old, 30 years old, and you tell them to do a multi-digit multiplication problem, they're going to do it the way I was taught. They don't know anything about the boxes. They may be willing to learn about the boxes, but they don't know that shit. It was not taught to them. We were not taught to call one person they. Why is it so hard for the LGBT community to understand this is a work in progress? I consider myself as a liberal and ally of the movement. It is a shame that folks would attack you for making a mistake on something you've been taught differently for 50 freaking years. 50 years. And other LGBT members were in the box, in the chat, and none of them could understand that. I just do not understand it. If you want folks to understand your cause, you have to be patient with folks who were not taught it. Folks who are trying to understand you are asking to be viewed or identified in a manner that they never knew existed. Not being critical of it, not even being resistant to it. Just simply trying to express that is not the way we were taught. And as I pointed out earlier in the broadcast, I've been through dozens and dozens of teachers. Elementary school, high school, attending an undergrad degree, a bachelor's degree, a master's degree, and a host of other education certificates and things on the side. No one taught me that. Not only did no one teach me that, if I had referred to someone in that manner, I would have received a failing grade in English. Work with me, folks. I'm going to the box. Like I said, this is a abbreviated, just upset that another liberal would come at it from this aspect. Ginger bearded Texan. Good afternoon.
Hey, brother. You know
Hey,
I lean right.
absolutely,
You
absolutely.
you are 100% wrong that you were not taught that in school. You were taught gender
Really?
neutrality when you were referring to a in the plurality of your target could be he or she. Okay,
Okay.
so you were already taught that gender neutrality in the plural sense, or in um
Wait a
the
minute. No, no.
without having
What does
without having a gender specific.
what does plural mean to you? Maybe I'm confused here. What do you mean when you say when I think plural? I'm thinking more than one. You think so? You're
No,
saying I was
well, it
taught
could.
to refer to? Go ahead.
Yeah, no, it was referred to when you didn't have a specific gender of what you were targeting in your conversation or in your text.
Right.
They would be referred to as they.
Yeah, but they
Because you
always
don't
meant
know if they're
more than.
male or female, who your audience is, or who your subject is, right? That then the pronoun would be they.
Yeah, but you're talking about an instance where the individual was an unknown. You never looked a person in the face and referred to them as they. You
Right, but
weren't
that's
taught
the
to
thing.
do that.
Right, but that's the thing about this gender neutrality is, in their mind, or in their perspective, it's unknown.
I'm fine with that. And that's what I said in my monologue is that I want to accommodate that, but understand we were not taught that. We were not taught to look at an individual and we were not taught to look at an individual and refer to that person as they. No one was taught to do that.
It's a difficult transition. I have a gender neutral child. I am not
Okay.
going to refer to their biological gender, but it is difficult, and I have to actually still pause when I say that. And I've been doing this for 2 years.
Okay.
It does take time, and luckily they have been accommodating of it when I was upfront about this is a little bit new for me.
It ain't a little bit new. It's completely foreign.
Yeah.
We never referred to anyone in front of us. I've all of my classes throughout growing up on the south side of Chicago, most classrooms, 30 students or more. Not one of them throughout my entire education wanted to be referred to as they. This is completely new. That's all I'm asking the LGBT community to understand is for folks that are my age or even as much as 20 years younger, this is completely new. To curse out and use expletives on people for calling you out of your pronoun, understand this is completely new. It's like learning a whole new language.
I could go on a very long diatribe on some of this. Um,
Mhm.
but I would probably end up being banned for hate speech, or I would really piss off a lot of people. So I'm going to keep my opinion to myself.
Fair enough.
Besides, I have a child. Like I said, I have a child that is in that position, and I love my child irregardless. Or irregardless is really not a word, actually. So regardless, I love my child. Um,
And there's
but
absolutely nothing wrong with that, Ginger.
no,
That's
no, no,
what's
no.
expected of you. But just understand, if friends, let me give you a perfect example. When a woman gets married, she tends to drop her maiden name. How would it look for that grown woman to continue swearing at her family for calling her the last name that they've been accustomed to calling her for the last 20, 30 years? Give them time to understand your name is different. You're different than what they are used to hearing.
Okay, I'll go with that. But I'm going to counter that with it is a more accepted practice, and therefore, as society, we are going to remember that more because that happened. There was a ceremony. We took part in it, and we accept that already as a society.
That what we
That
accept what
name
as a
dropping,
society.
the name change, right?
But we also accept looking at a person, I guess to be technical about it, looking at a person that appears to have ovaries and a vagina. We have accepted calling that person a she without asking them any questions. Well, if you're doing anything before that person opens their mouth, you're going to refer to that person as a she. If you found that person deceased and they ask, well, how old was this person? Well, I think she was about 20 or 30. You're not going to refer to this person as a they. It's just in our teachings to look at what looks like a woman and refer to it as she, and to look at what looks like a man and refers to it as he. Why is people being criticized so heavily for doing what everybody was taught?
But I think in legality, a lot of times they refer to them, say, a plaintiff or a defendant or the victim. They don't even refer to a pronoun. That's probably been going on, for many, 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 many years. But I mean, yes, they still they still refer to them sometimes as by that pronoun. But you know, sometimes it's one of those things where I don't know that we can understand it. We just, I think, have to accept it, for what it is. And I mean, we can't figure out right now, is it mental illness? Is it treatable? Is it really true that they're a man trapped in a woman's body, or vice versa? We don't know that. We just don't know. We don't have that mapping of the brain and that mapping of understanding of the brain. So, we've got to work with what we've got today, and or is it a fad? It could just be a fad. People,
Well, I'm just
people in
gonna.
general trying to piss off their parents or piss off
Okay.
society.
All right, well, fair enough. I gotta move it on, Ginger, but I'm not gonna insult any pronoun a person wants to be called. I will let them do that. I'm just asking that they be patient and understanding while I make my best attempt to accommodate what they're asking. That goes totally against what I was taught. So understand, I might slip up and say she or he just simply because it's the way I've been taught for the last 50 years.
If
I'm trying. Is the
if,
point I'm making.
if they're militant about it, they ain't worth my time.
Fair enough.
That's the bottom line. I know that's true about a lot of things, that they're militant about, being right wing or left wing. Um, it's the same thing, and it goes. I mean, so many subjects in our world. I mean, if you're going to be militant about it, it's not worth my time.
Well said. Catch you later, Ginger Bearded.
Brother, appreciate it.
Absolutely. Okay, and all of us are learning that in the comments coming from shit, and the TikTok scrolled it up, but I appreciate that. English is still English, Ginger. Double Luck said, yeah, you're right. Ginger, you need to educate yourself more. Well, in regards to your comment, Brett Russell, you saying that Ginger Bearded, my previous caller, needs to educate himself. That's what we're trying to do. That is what we're trying to do. The problem is certain members of the LGBT community is not giving us time. They're coming at us as if you should have learned this shit by now. And now we're going to start verbally abusing you when you make mistakes. If you want to promote your cause and have more people understand what you are going through, and make no mistake about it, a lot of the things that the LGBT community state that they are going through are 100% foreign to heterosexuals. So if you want us to understand what you're going through, all we ask is that you give us time. Just give us time. Give us time without the swearing. Give us time without the insults and over-the-top criticism. As my previous caller said, being militant. You wanna talk about people that are anti-LGBT or folks that are hurting the cause? When you do that, you become one of them. Going back to the box. Show. I can't even pipe on this shit. Tap the screen. Get your boy to 5,000 likes. This may not be one of the most favorable topics. I get it. It's an abbreviated live. Shody, good evening or good afternoon.
What's happening, sir? What's happening, brother? How are you
I'm
today?
in the trenches, man. I'm in the trenches. The LGBT community. We're talking blue on blue. We're talking friendly fire. I'm being attacked by a bunch of liberals. What the hell?
Which is completely. Let me just get into the car here because I got a lot of background noise. Okay. Yeah, that's a very unusual position for you to be in. Being attacked by liberals. So where I stand, one of the things that I look at, or one of the perspectives that I can see here is when black people were referred to by many as colored or worse.
Right.
And
Right.
you know, may not be. I'm going to say right now, this is probably a very unpopular opinion on my part.
Just don't say the N
Well,
word.
not on my
Just
part,
don't
but
say the
people
N
will hear me
word.
say this.
Don't say the N word.
Yeah.
Just don't say the N
No,
word.
no, 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 no. I would not.
Okay.
It's not part of my
Fuck up my
vernacular.
whole life.
But there.
Okay.
But
Fuck up my whole life.
no, I wouldn't do that. But to that point, um, I don't use that language. I don't appreciate it. I think that we're intelligent enough to be able to express ourselves, whether we like each other or not. We should be able to express ourselves better than that. But to that point, there are people who use that word, who were brought up in a way or in a community where it's acceptable. Okay, so now even though I don't agree with the use of that word or calling anyone that, um, I can understand it better coming from someone that was sheltered in that way. Doesn't make
Okay,
it
let me
right.
say this
I'm
though.
not trying to make
Let me
excuses
interrupt you.
for it, but
Let me interrupt
say
you.
this though.
Hold on a second. Take off your, you on Bluetooth. Cut your Bluetooth because you got a real bad echo.
Oh, okay.
Cut your Bluetooth because you got a real bad echo.
Sorry about that. Let me
Okay, while he's
turn that
doing
off.
that,
Hold on a second.
I just want to say in response to what he's saying, I get the point about even with the N word being brought up a certain way. However,
Yeah.
even being brought up using the N word, I'm responding to your point there, Shonen. Even being brought, and I get it too, but being brought up using the N word was also quite common in this country. However, when folks were using the N word, even when it was common, they knew it was derogatory. Similar to using the word rag that begins with an F to refer to
Yes.
homosexual folks. Yeah, you know that's derogatory. However, referring to someone that looks like a
Absolutely.
female as she was never meant to be derogatory. So I'm going to kind of separate the things you're saying because if I was calling a gay person a rag, starting with an F, you know what I'm saying, then that would be different. But
Yes.
calling you a she or a
Right.
he that has no negative connotations to it whatsoever.
No, it does not. I agree with you 100%. 100% I agree with you. There's a certain amount of tolerance, and you said this before when you were speaking with your previous guest, that allow people to be educated, and before you go all in on them, both barrels, you know, at least be willing to give a person the benefit of the doubt. Is this person that's talking to you, is their intent to be offensive? If I'm talking to you and I don't know you from a hole in the wall, I've never met you in my life, and I refer to you as Mister Handsome, okay? And that's not what you identify as. It's really incumbent on you to say, well, is this person trying to be offensive, or is it just that he
Right.
sees me and he doesn't know? He doesn't know me.
Exactly.
And like I
Exactly.
said, I agree with you 100%.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
So
Listen, I got to move it
I'm
on.
gonna move it
I'll give
on.
you
I
the
know.
last word. I do got to move it on, but I'll give you the
Yes.
last word. Go ahead.
Now, I was just gonna say I really enjoy watching your lives. I tune in as often as I can. I don't get a chance usually to speak because usually the queue is pretty long, but I appreciate being on today.
All right. Well, it's absolutely a pleasure having you. Don't be a stranger. Come back. I wish I could talk to you a little bit longer, but yeah, it's an abbreviated live. Catch you on the next one, hopefully. All right. Looking in the comments, you should have called her an it. I don't listen. Who said that? IWZL said I should have called. And by the way, appreciate the gifts. Ginger Bearded H2O, and I cannot remember the other person, but I do appreciate those gifts you guys are dropping. IWZL. I'm not going to call a person an it. They're already having trouble with me simply calling them a he or a she. And I'm not even trying to insult them at all. I guess calling them an it would have made them go belligerent. But they were cursing me out. I'm using the pronoun properly, I hope. They were cursing me out. Yeehaw! Ohio trucker. That's who I've forgotten. Thank you for those gifts. But yeah, they were getting pissed off because we were having a back and forth, and I kept saying she. And every time I would say it, I would get cussed out. Look, I'm not trying to mess up your pronoun, lady. But I don't. It sounds so weird to have a conversation with somebody and you're calling them they and you're not trained to do it. Just like I said, give me time. I don't know what to say. Can I get in on the conversation? Absolutely. Can I pronounce your name? Stagath or what? Let me go back to your financial guru. MAGA, not a problem. My guru,
What's
good
going on, my
afternoon.
friend?
I'm in the
I
trenches,
hear
man.
you.
I have run afoul of the LGBT community.
You got caught in word salad. So here's my thing with that old stuff. They have been convinced on the leftist feminist movement that women are somehow inferior. So that as a woman, you shouldn't identify as a woman. You should identify as something else. The whole movement holds women, as much as they say women's rights, they secretly think that men, conservative men, think below them. Are you kidding? My wife, I respect her all day and beyond. And if she wouldn't be called like it one day, just call me it. I'm no longer a woman. I'm no longer a she. I'd actually have to get her some help. Because when she wakes up in the morning and she takes a shower, she has two things looking at her, guaranteeing her that she's a she, according to my understanding of biology and basic human language. And so for me, when people say that and they're wanting me to call them a plural word or like, and I have a niece. She's changed her, well, still currently a niece, trying to become a nephew. And so I have it firsthand. And she would not talk to me at my nephew's wedding because I wouldn't recognize her under her new future male name. I'm like, you were born a woman. You're still a woman. Even when you take all those hormones and you jam yourself up even worse.
Well, wait, but let me
But,
say
but it's
this.
all tied
I,
together.
now,
But it's all tied together.
okay,
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I get your point, but I mean, if the person actually wants to be called, I will try to accommodate. It's just you got to understand I won't make mistakes. Let me respond real quick to Mark Time in the comments. He said that this individual, they're one person, handsome, not the whole community to let it go. Well, in that live, there was about 500 people or more, and they were defending that one person for hammering me for making mistakes. So, Mark Time, when you say it's one person, no, you got plenty members of the LGBT community are in this same mindset. Not saying all, but for any member of the LGBT community that wants acceptance for their pronouns, they need to get these type of people out of their movement. Would you not agree with that, Guru?
Yeah, I'd agree. Because the
Yeah.
militant behavior is going to serve nothing. It's no different like the overly zealous Christian trying to bind hellfire damnation. If not, you're going to go to hell. There, listen what I say. That guy is not helping their movement either. You get more flies with honey than vinegar. I'm with you
Yeah,
all day. But
100%.
that's just reflective of the reinforcement, like the fervor that's been pounded into everybody that's on that path. Like if I was going to consider changing my whatever, I'd have quiet contemplation about it. I wouldn't be militant about it. I wouldn't tell anybody respect my authority, waving around a stick and beating you on the head because you didn't magically use the words. Yeah,
Well,
that
let me
serves
ask you this
nothing.
then. So let me ask you this, because Brett Russell in the comments said this. It's offensive if they told you and you continue to use the wrong pronouns only then. So what about if they tell you, like she actually did, or they actually did advise me that they wanted to be referred to as they. However, I kept slipping when we were having a dialogue back and forth and saying she wants this, or what about her point on here? So I was slipping. So am I offended her? Because that's what Brett Russell was suggesting. Because I've been told, and I keep slipping back to my 50 years of teaching and referring to this person as a woman, that I am insulting him, even though I'm making it clear sometimes I'm using they, sometimes I'm using she and he. It's a work in progress. Am I,
Yeah,
I mean, am I being offensive?
no, they're being
Yeah.
overly sensitive, and they're overly sensitive again because they themselves aren't even sure. That woman's not even sure of the own Kool-Aid she's trying to pitch. In other
Yeah.
words, like I'm fat, right? And someone called me fat. I'd be like, cool, great, congratulations. I'm aware of who I am and I'm secure in who I am. I pee standing up. I'm a man. I know all this stuff. And I would never get mad at anybody else if they had to refer to me as something different to reallocate how they're used to, addressing someone because I'm secure in my person. That person is not secure in themselves. So they're defending it so fiercely because they don't know their own selves, which back to my point of a state of mental illness, because you're going against 10 trillion cells that when the day you're born knows what the sex is, regardless of
Yeah.
what you want to think it is. And they're in agony. I feel for every one of them. And because they're not getting any real help. Everyone's just saying, "Oh, awesome! You're standing up for yourself." Well, wait a minute, though. You're fighting what you're born as. Something's not right, and if you are broke, like something's broken, let's fix it. And if it is, you really do need the chemistry change, then let's make it happen. But being defensive and just like accept my thing or I beat you up, that's like communist behavior. It's nuts.
Yeah,
Fascist, communist, it's all the same.
I
And
wasn't a fan of
it's
it.
gross.
I wasn't a fan of it. I definitely wasn't a fan. I appreciate your input, Guru.
Hey, man,
I
as
got to
always,
move
dude.
it on.
Yeah, do your thing, man.
Absolutely.
Good talking.
You too. A pleasure. Real
Comments. Kelly said, but you got frustrated with them for pointing it out. No, I got frustrated for getting cursed out for making the mistakes. That's why I didn't. Because obviously you were there in the live, you would have noticed that there were plenty of times I referred to that person as they. So it wasn't like I was trying to dispel the pronoun that they were requesting. I was even right now, I'm trying to do it and making mistakes and saying she or he. But it's not that I'm actually denouncing the pronoun they're going by. I'm making mistakes after 50 years of education in the other direction. What she was mad about was you laughed about it. No, I laughed about the ridiculous response to a person that was trying to see things her way and making a mistake, and that person continuing to go off and treat me like shit. And I also laughed at the fact that she was running as what she calls a presidential contender for the 2024 race, and one of her primary tenets is that she wants to abolish police. Yeah, I laughed at that. Yeah, I'm liberal, but I think that's the dumbest campaign slogan you could ever come up with. If you've seen what has happened to the liberals with defund the police, why the hell would anyone take it further and use a word like abolish? And this person suggesting that she's a socialist or something thought that was thought that was something that was necessary. And I was in a live with 500-600 other liberals that thought what she was talking about was great. Abolish the police. No, I see that, Elisa, you said she's not a liberal, a socialist, whatever, but she will be grouped up with the liberals just like Bernie Sanders is. And anyone running for any office promoting the abolishment of police officers is a losing candidate. Now, she, just like the liberals, had this explanation for, well, it really don't mean defund the police. It means this. She would say, well, I really don't talk about abolishing the police. I mean this. My point is this, simple to any candidate. Once you use the phrase defund the police or abolish the police, no one gives a damn about the definition because the phrase is as clear as day. Everyone knows what it means to abolish something or defund it. You can twist the words all you want. That phrase alone is about as toxic as anthrax. That was my point. Handsome, don't take this as an opportunity to trash her. They were upset at your shooting. Now, she was going off on me before we got around to the Jalen Walker shooting. I'd invite you to watch that. Well, I don't know if you can rewatch this live or not, but I'm going to talk about this again because obviously it's a topic that's got me hot, got a lot of you folks passionately involved in it. I'll be back on in a couple hours. I am currently at work. I just had to take a moment out to talk to the folks. And my audience, I always say once again, is definitely more MAGA, but liberals are absolutely welcome here. I got hammered for talking to liberals. Why? Or talking to MAGA. Why is it that an African American has to absolutely despise 100% of everything Trump has done to be considered a liberal? There is no politician in history that is 100% bad. Hell, even Hitler created the damn Volkswagen. Why can't I just have free thought? I'm a liberal. I didn't say I am MAGA, but damn, the guy gave us a good economy. We were certainly dealing with a better inflation rate than we are now. Is it impossible for me to point that out without being a sellout to the whole party? You point to getting rid of Trump because of the insults and the intolerance by doing the same damn thing. What the hell is that? The LGBT community, bringing this chick back up, or this they back up, point to how their pronouns and their community is being ostracized by doing the same damn thing to others. I'm just simply asking to step back, look at what you're doing and realize it may be hurting your own cause. Unfortunately, I see folks in the comments do want to comment on this, and I absolutely want to hear from you. 2 hours. 2 hours. I'll be back on. I got to go. I'm on lunch break. Catch you guys later.